Hi, this is Alex from Groovy Entertainment. Today we got another book and record episode to do. Today's book is The Duke of Hazzard, Daredevil Danger from 1983. So let's get started.
This is your Dukes of Hazzard read-along book. Every time you hear this chime, it means it's time to turn the page in your storybook. Now, we are ready to begin. Open your book, and we will start our story. And remember, when you hear the chime, turn the page. Look out! Shouted Luke Duke. That big rainstorm last night must have washed out the old bridge. We'll never make it across Rocky Creek. Rather than slam on his brakes and try to stop, Bo Duke stepped down on the gas pedal. The General Lee roared into action as the car thundered towards the riverbank. Luke put his hands over his eyes. He was too scared to look. In a flash of orange, the General Lee took off and soared across the creek bed, flying through midair. The trusty car landed in a cloud of dust on the other side. The Duke boys were safe. "Now slow down, for Pete's sake," shouted Luke. "You scared me half to death." Bo throttled back the powerful engine to a safe speed. "Yahoo!" shouted Bo. "The good old General Lee has done it again." The car hugged the curbs of the dusty county road as the Dukes drove into town. They were on their way to the courthouse after getting an emergency telephone call from Cousin Daisy. They didn't have a moment to spare. It seems that some no-good son of a skunk had stolen Daisy's Jeep. As they rounded a bend in the road, Bo saw trouble up ahead. A big branch of an old oak tree had fallen across the road. They were in real danger if they didn't do something, and fast. Bo cut the steering wheel sharply to the left, and the car plowed off the road, down an embankment, and across a field of cows. The cows ran out of the way and made an awful racket in the process. "Now, that's what I'd call a shortcut," laughed Luke as the car rumbled back onto the road just a few miles from town. Daisy was powerful glad to see her cousins come driving into town in a cloud of dust. She hopped in the car, and the three of them took off again. "That no-count rat who swiped my Jeep headed out of town on the southbound road," shouted Daisy. "Don't you worry your pretty little head about that," said Bo. "We'll catch him, or we ain't the Dukes of Hazzard." General Lee took off along the southbound road, and after a half an hour or so, the Dukes could see the cloud of dust left by the thief who was driving Daisy's Jeep. Then, suddenly, the dust cloud began to thin. Soon it was gone. "No dust in these parts can only mean one thing," said Bo. "Either he stopped, which ain't too likely, or else he's driving in the creek." Bo took a shortcut through a cornfield, and in a minute or so they landed with a splash in the shallow creek bed. He gunned the motor, and the car raced up the creek, sending a spray of water out behind them. When they rounded a bend in the creek, they saw the Jeep up ahead of them. He must have figured out that they were following him, 'cause he was really moving out now. Bo pushed the gas pedal to the floor. They were gaining on the Jeep. Quickly, the thief drove the Jeep up the bank of the creek and into the bushes. Duke saw what he had done, and in a minute or so, they made the same move. After they cleared the bushes, Bo slammed on the brakes just in time to stop the General Lee from crashing into the wall of a stone cliff. They all looked around, but Daisy's Jeep was nowhere in sight. It had just disappeared into thin air. Where in tarnation could he have gone to, wondered Bud. I don't see the Jeep anywhere, but it couldn't have just vanished unless that thief is also a magician. Then, out of the corner of her eye, Daisy saw something that made her look twice. The bushes at the base of the cliff were moving mysteriously. In a flash, they all leaped out of the car and ran towards the spot. Luke acted first. He grabbed the bushes and gave a yank. In an instant, he tossed the bushes aside. They were not growing there. They had been cut and placed there to hide the entrance to a cave in the side of the cliff. "All right," shouted the thief. "You caught me." He came out of the cave with his hands up in the air. He knew better than to tangle with the Duke boys in a fist fight. As the sunlight shone into the cave, the Duke saw an amazing sight. There must have been 8 or 10 stolen cars hidden in the long cave. They had captured the biggest car thief in the state. But it was all in a day's work for the Dukes of Hazzard.
So that was the Dukes of Hazzard, the Daredevil Danger from 1983. Now, I never seen this show at all. I seen a spinoff that 2 of the people was on the show that played in Alice in that TV show, but that's the only thing I seen of this show. And now that they had got rid of the show because of the flag and everything, I'll probably never see the show ever except on my book on records. So please like, subscribe, share, and comment, and tell me what you like about the TV show. And have a groovy day. And our next book will be Here Come the Dukes of Hazzard.